Hello, and welcome to this bonus edition of Don't Miss This. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity. Today we're going to explore a charming village located less than 20 miles outside of Paris, Auvers-sur-Oise. Famously, this is where painter Vincent van Gogh spent his final days. Let's take a closer look and see if we can uncover what makes Auvers-sur-Oise a place worth discovering. Auvers is known as the village d'artistes, and it certainly embraces its history as a village of artists. In the 19th century, Auvers attracted painters like Charles-François Daubigny, Paul Cézanne, Camille Pissarro, and of course, Vincent van Gogh. It's Van Gogh who's made the biggest impression on the village, with many locals even going so far as to paint their mailboxes in homage. Winding through Auvers is the Chemin des Peintres, or the Painter's Path, and I'm going to use this trail as a guideline to tour us around the village. First, we arrive at the train station, where immediately across the street used to sit the home of artist Charles-François Daubigny, whose garden Vincent painted many times. We can curve then to the right, moving clockwise. Next, we'll happen upon the Parc Van Gogh, which features a statue of Vincent van Gogh carrying an easel by sculptor Auberge, which was added in 1961. Behind this square, you'll find the tourism office, where you can pick up a map with the artist's path marked on it. I would be remiss if I didn't quickly mention the bakery Mums, which is directly across the street from the park. I basically did what all smart travelers do and ordered what all the locals in front of me had ordered. So I ended up with un pain tigre, or tiger bread, and un pain miel et noisette, or a honey and hazelnut bread. Both were delicious and should not be missed. We can continue our tour clockwise to the Auberge Ravoux, the inn where Vincent rented a room and ultimately passed away. Downstairs is a restaurant where you can have a meal, and upstairs, for a few euros, you can take a guided visit of the room where Vincent died. After this visit, you'll watch a short video describing Vincent's final days. No photographs are allowed out of respect. Vincent's room is now empty. All the original furniture was burned because suicide carries superstitions with it, and no one has ever spent the night in the room since. The energy in the room where he died is incredibly potent and emotional. Aside from a few structural renovations, the room is entirely as it was. Just across the street is the town hall, which Vincent painted on the 14th of July, France's Independence Day. If you were to continue straight, you'd find a number of panels describing Vincent's life as a traveler, from Montmartre to Arles to Saint-Remy to Auvers, as well as photos from what the town looked like around the time Vincent was there. But instead, we'll curve around the Auberge Ravoux to the right and happen upon the Musée Daubigny, where we visited the temporary exhibit in honor of Vincent's 70 days in Auvers in my last video. Charles-François Daubigny moved to Auvers in 1860 and lived there for 18 years. He was primarily a landscape painter and is considered a founding father of Impressionism. He was a source of inspiration for Vincent and many of the other Impressionists. In 1866, he became a member of the jury of the Salon des Beaux-Arts and defended the work of Cézanne, Renoir, and Pissarro, who were ultimately not admitted to the Salon. Daubigny continued to support the work of artists like Courbet, Monet, Boudin, Manet, Pissarro, Renoir, Degas, Sisley, and Berthe Morisot, and welcomed Cézanne, Monet, and Pissarro into his home studio in Auvers. Daubigny died in 1878, and in the museum you'll find his work, as well as work by his artistic family and artists whom he inspired and was inspired by. If we continue up the street just a little, we'll find the spot where Vincent painted this stairway. After this painting, the stairway fell into disrepair and disuse, but in 1990, on the 100th anniversary of Vincent's passing, a group of local Auvergnats reconstructed the stairway back to its original glory. From here, if we turn left, we'll come upon the location of Vincent's final painting, Racines, or Roots. For over a century, people debated where Vincent's last piece was painted. But thanks to the worldwide confinement in 2020, Dr. Wouter van der Ven, world-renowned Van Gogh specialist, decided to classify his personal archives and, in so doing, came upon this postcard, thus solving a mystery more than 100 years in the making. If we were to continue on in this direction, we would find the Château d'Auvers and the Maison du Docteur Gachet, the home of the doctor whose treatment Vincent was under. Both of these locations, however, are currently closed due to renovation, although there is no mention of that on either of their websites, nor on that of the town. So there you go. We can, however, take a quick detour to the Absinthe Museum. Here you'll learn a lot about, well, absinthe, including the apparatuses and accessories used. There's even a full bar upstairs. But mostly, more than anything, you'll find posters. These posters begin by reveling in the glory of absinthe, then sell magical healing properties, and finally condemn the green fairy to hell. You will not, despite it being listed as part of the Van Gogh Festival, find any references to Vincent himself, although if you ask the lady at the front desk, she will show you this image. Absinthe tastings are available, but not at the same potency they once were. From here, we can make our way back to Rue Daubigny and curve around the Maison Rose, or Pink House, pictured here with my beautiful dog enhancing its natural charm. This building, and the one next to it, comprise the Daubigny's second home workshop. It now acts as an artist residence and hosts year-round events. From here, we can curve around to the right. You may feel you have lost your way as you make your way up a heavily treed forest path, but soon you'll find yourself in large open fields where Van Gogh once painted. Undoubtedly, his most famous painting taken here was this one, Wheatfield with Crows. Continuing on, we find ourselves in front of the Auvers-sur-Oise cemetery, where both Vincent and his brother Theo are buried. Vincent died on July 29, 1890, after having shot himself in the torso 2 days earlier. He died not from the bullet wound, but from an infection caused by the lodged bullet which could not be removed. He was buried 1 day later, and the funeral was attended by his brother Theo, the innkeeper from Auberge Ravoux and his family, as well as some local villagers and Parisian artists like Lucien Pissarro, Charles Laval, and Émile Bernard, and art dealer Julien Tanguy. Theo died 6 months later after multiple epileptic fits, symptomatic of dementia paralytica, due to syphilis. He was buried in Utrecht, but moved to be with his brother in Auvers in 1914. Let's continue to follow the path back towards town. We'll find ourselves in front of a church that I, and likely you, would know anywhere. In the square below the church, we'll find a bust of our friend Daubigny. You can continue on toward the Oise River to see where Van Gogh painted this piece, although I didn't. All in all, Auvers-sur-Oise is a lovely village, bursting with charm, proud of its history, and a continuing inspiration to artists worldwide. The Château d'Auvers and the Maison du Docteur Gachet are currently closed for renovation, but the Parc Van Gogh, Auberge Ravoux, Musée Daubigny, Musée Absinthe, Maison Rose, Atelier du Daubigny, cemetery, and church are open year-round, although hours may vary and some require entrance fees. Happy exploring!